Welcome on back in, everyone, to Total War Warhammer 3 in part 4 of our legendary Changeling Immortal Empires campaign. In today's episode, we are here a turn later where I have signed a peace treaty with Festus the Leech Lord for around 7,000 gold, and we are going to immediately stab him in the back. But before we do, I have added in a few names. So for one of them that wasn't chosen for the Ogre Bulls that got slaughtered, was the Raiders of Change, and that has been added now to the Zangors. I quite like the name, and I figured it fit the Zangors equal to the Ogres. We've also gone ahead and got the KFC Killer for our Cockatrice, and then our Steam Tank has been renamed to Thomas the Bane Train for what it will indeed be bringing. And we're going to immediately come on in here for this episode and stab Festus right in his back. This is going to make us all sorts of enemies. In fact, can I be a... Now we're at war with Talabheim, so we would not be able to be a mercenary. Make even more gold off of it. Declaring war shortly after signing a peace treaty is considered an act of treachery. Oh my. My plagues are coming for you. Let's see who gets there first, your plagues or my fire. We could just auto-resolve this one, but it's a lot of Chaos Warhounds with poison. I think we should throw down. We're gonna lose probably quite a few of our blue horrors, but this shall be a brawl to remember. All of the hounds and all of the poor marauders to be turned into paste. Let the Battle of Crudenwald, I guess the second Battle of Crudenwald, begin. And man, fighting Nurgle as Tzeentch has to be the most fun and most easy matchup you will ever find. Besides maybe Norska, anything that doesn't have any anti-air will get just obliterated. And now that our troops all have a stock, at least those that are currently capable of getting it, I think a lot of the big beasties are not able to have it, but that is depending on what exactly they are. Lots of blue fire crashing on in to start off there. They've got their poison hounds in the woods, but those are going to be stopped by our sour guts and by our Raiders of Change, and then the also lovely Severed Claw, making sure nothing gets past them. If they do, they'll charge into the blue horrors, and that's not going to matter so much at all. Our Steam Tank also starting to blast away at Festus. Since we have the aerial advantage here, there's nothing the enemy can do about it. We're simply going to be blasting away at Festus with the Changebringers and all of our damage spells. Sending the Cockatrice in to use its gaze to stop Festus cold. Just one volley drops him down 4,000 health, and with our own Festus, we will drop on him as soon as I'm able to here. Get him with it. There's this single damage spell that will be incredible at just getting rid of Festus that much faster. The Marauders charge into the blue Yogo Balls, making themselves immune to flame. Poor Leech Lord is having just the worst day. Rancid Visitation's gone down, and I was charging Festus in with the poison ability, so he'll be damaging everyone around him instead of healing, which is just hilarious. You gotta love the flamethrowers. We need more flamers ASAP. And it may just be the normal exalted flamers that have the vortex style with their fire, but I can't wait to find out. Screamer's actually putting in some pretty good work against other mobile units like Warhounds. They absolutely dominate, but they are just not good against infantry. They are the strongest sky units for the most part. The only thing that I've found that beats them pretty handily is Crowman. Crowman will outright annihilate Screamers without really losing any models. Our own Fest is regenerating up and dealing all of the damage to our enemies. It is lovely. This battle was never going to be very long-lasting. Both flamers focusing on those Nurgly spawns should see them into the afterlife at maximum speed as the last models disappear. I don't know about you all, but I'm absolutely loving Tzeentch so far. We've got the Severed Claw ripping apart their much smaller beta brethren. Need to read more books, fools. Get you swole. Just expending the rest of our ammunition here. It's more or less we've devolved into a target practice. Screamers are running off the groups of skirmish cav that want to keep coming back, but after that, I think they've decided that fighting Tzeentch is no fun. And I may or may not have spent the first part of that battle talking to you all like you were there with me. Definitely not. The gold sword going into actually a split between the different flamers and the Zangors who were there butchering the fools in the woods. Well done. We'll also take the gold sigil sword and we will raise Crudenwald to the ground, which will not destroy our cult that's here. So anytime one of the Imperial settlements or generals comes up to resettle this, we will be able to start benefiting pretty much immediately. So next we're going to wipe out Hergig since we do need to push them along, and this will unlock we've got the weird spawn as well. This will go ahead and unlock the ultimate change, or the ultimate grand scheme battle here. I guess not the ultimate, but the grand scheme battle, where the Lords of the Empire are holding a diplomatic summit, but they seem to have forgotten your invitation. No matter, you will just have to invite yourself and turn these petty nobles against their obviously rotten emperor. So we'll have to fight this battle as Karl Franz for sure. Our reward for this one is going to be the Empire will be unable to reinforce your enemies in the ultimate scheme, so they'll be crossed on off, and then the Empire's elector counts, the surviving ones, will descend into civil war. And then we will also obtain the form of Hakeled Hellbrass if you do not already have it, and the Ruined Blade, which is just, I think, one of the Rune Fangs that we steal. At least it's probably a Rune Fang. Maybe. Then we'll also get a surplus of supplies. We'll gain 50 supplies per turn, which is a hefty boost to what we already have. Onward to raising Hergig. So now that we have the Master Schemer to help our diplomatic relations with all of those Chaos factions, let's also come on in here and grab Perplexing Meddler to decrease, or I guess increase the wins and magic cost for all of our enemy spells, drop their armor by 20 and their speed by 15%, which is all pretty insane. Pandemonium is my name. For the Orb Keeper, let's go for point into Final Transmutation so we can get the Arcane Conduit on Kevin. I think he will just hand the gold sigil sword over to... Oh, he's already got it. Awesome. Scroll of Leeching is not great, but if we had an additional scroll here, I'd happily combine them. Scroll of Power is allowing us to reset cooldowns, which is pretty good here for all of our Tzeentchian stuff, especially now that I'm going to switch him on over. Back from Festus to Kairos for the elimination of Festus. And even Kairos would probably be the best call for dealing with the Empire as well. But that's not thematic. We're going to have to fight it as Franz. Got 7,000 gold to work with. It's also probably a good idea to grab the weird spawn in with the Changelings army to give us another kind of, or actually kind of our first big tanky unit. So let's get rid of one of these blue horrors here. Okay, before we do, let's see how much that's going to cost. Per turn, 273. And the weird spawn is an actual group of chaos spawn. I've been used to the weird spawn from SFO, which is a single entity. And is a horrifyingly powerful one at that. Yeah, we'll get rid of this single group of blue horrors, and we'll add on in the weird spawn. Welcome. We'll just get rid of the parentheses, because I know what the weird spawn is. Beautiful. Now we really can't recruit up any more troops here with Karn, who's down moving through the moot. As soon as we move out of an area with our cultists, or our cults in the settlement, we will then no longer be hidden. So we need to kind of move over to Dragonhof quite quickly. So if I could get into a march and sprint on through, that would be ideal. Then we can kind of hang out in the settlement and recruit up more troops through Global until we are ready to strike. I guess we don't want to really hit Drakenhof because then we would only be given the choice to raise it. But just sitting over there will help increase that Tzeentch corruption. As far as what we'll do with the rest of our gold, nothing that's going to increase our upkeep. We've already got the Raider's Bounty in the Shrouded Financier form. We've got a Raider's Bounty going in there. Is there any of the other income buildings we can upgrade? We can go for the one in needling up to the Hidden Storehouse, and then perhaps... Now it looks like we're just out of the cult supplies. So more of those are going to be the next thing we look at. Alright, we'll skip on through here. That will be our turn. Unpredictable, unforeseen. Oh, really? Ernest has come on up to discover us. Can we just take him out with a quick auto-resolve? That is a ton of pikemen. Pikemen, archers, and free company. All been freed from your lives. That's a lot of casualties. Golden Sword going to the weird spawn. Well done. We should not have lost that many troops, though, at all. I'm going to go ahead and just conjurate Locust, because we're going to perhaps get the execute units trait.
Today I choose death.
Northern and Celestial Loyalists have now become one. Banners sewn together. With giant blade sounds excellent for the Changeling, especially when we're flying around as Kairos. A yoink. Then the Gold Sigil Sword can go to our newly recruited Karn, who doesn't deserve anything, really, until he proves himself. I wonder how good he looks. Calamine is gone, Hawklet is gone once more, looks like Nordland dropkicked them. We got an ambusher discovered, and then the Champions of Change has been researched. So hail the writhing fire of change, all glory to the true nature of chaos. Love all of the Daryl Tzeentchian event cards. Now after we've captured 500 battle captives, the next step, move any character to Carolburg. Your investigation has proven fruitful indeed. It seems the blue scribes of Tzeentch, Taurix, and Zeratup are the frenzied force behind the haphazard magics that have plagued so many battlefields across the land. Better yet, a clue to their current location, has now reared its head. As chaos surges in a nearby settlement, if you act quickly, you may be able to catch blue scribes in action, while they torture and twist every being in the area. Perfect. Go watch their torture. Carolburg isn't too far away. And if we so wish, I think we could recruit in a hero here. No. No luck.
This action does not have my
and this tree doesn't give us any heroes. But upgrading it would give us access to the Exalted Flamer and the Changebringers, which I think is too good to pass up. Over here in Hurricane, we almost have access to kind of our middle tier warriors and the Zendikors, as well as the Spawn. And then our Exalted Heroes, the three-headed menace there.
Chaos.
Theodric, you look to have gotten lost. Upkeep for allied armies, not for our own. This would increase the weird spawn's speed, weapon strength, and barrier. I think we just go for more spell intensity. Or just more movement range. Because I think any territory that, as long as we're at war with them, and this is raised, we will gain that bonus. Let's take down Theodric here, and then we can turn around to raise Hergig. We're not at war with them yet. Who is currently? Time to the Gundites. Turns out, no, we cannot be a mercenary this time. We can be brutal, though, which I'm here for. Alright, time to take down the blue and yellow berets. You call to Ulrich, I call to, two-headed chicken. Ooh, Theodric, your army is looking quite sad. We will auto-resolve this one. It's not going to be kind to us. No, it's not. Good grief. We will go ahead and snack on these captives here. Evan's on a burning chariot, which I'm going to immediately remove him from. It's much slower and a much bigger target. Has several different melee missile attacks at the same time, though, which makes it quite powerful. But the slower and larger hitbox, just don't tend to trade it off for. Let's go final point into final transmute.
Pandemonium is my name.
Indeed. I think now we'll grab top of the class for that increased spell intensity, or do we just start boosting up our horrors now? Horrors are flamers, so 4% more strength. 70. Yeah, they're only stronger because they are max rank, and they hit that max rank so incredibly quickly. So let's grab top of the class first, and then we will circle back around to upgrading our actual troopers. So I'd love to see how strong we can boost the Changebringers up to. Ugh, Hergig is so far away. They're not at war currently. If we could use the changing of the ways to force them to be at war, that would be just perfect. But they're our friends, so maybe...
Sit by my side, and let us discuss mutually beneficial matters.
Indeed. You will join our war with the Fecundites, and I'll join yours with... Okay, I'll join yours with, maybe both armies, Wissenland and the Golden Order. See if we can't get him to wipe out... Oh, he's not willing to do it. They're not very strong there, Vlad. I'm sure you could handle them. That's fine. We could also just come on over here and hit Middenheim for another... Circle to Hergig from there.
Always scheming.
Emperor's down here in Altdorf. So we don't have really any other armies to deal with, so let's make some more experience. Easy to get distracted. Since our army is so weakened, we need to move on in and fight this ourselves, even though the Pyrrhic victory... Oh, lose both of our nuggets. Not on your life. What kind of map are we looking at here with Midland? Alright, well this side has no towers at all, so this is where we're striking from. Time to rain down unholy fire. And who's ready to bathe another Imperial town in pink and blue flames? I am. Let's get to it. For our setup this time, we've got a bunch of our flyers kind of all over the place, and a single unit of stocky blue horrors ready to go up and over the walls. Our plan was to try to get as much of their army spread out as we could, but I will not lie, I did forget that our Screamers even are going to have stock. So there is no one that can actually see them. So that's why the enemy is deployed as defensive as they are. They have no clue where we're at, so we're going to try to take advantage of that in the future battles here. Steam tank blasting cannonballs at the front gate. They didn't know where we were previously. They definitely do now. They've got swords and spears up front here. And all of their crossbows kind of all in one location with some halberdiers and some swordsmen, which is a really bad idea. As now we're going to send our Changebringers, Furies, and good old Kevin to punish them. Skating over the Quidditch pitch there. And Kairos has, or at least the Changeling has been transformed into Kairos to get also up and over those walls to harass our poor foes. Here is the weird spawn, though. Very first Tzeentch touched spawn, but they only recently, as in I guess of the, I think the Shadows of Change DLC, actually gained access to the Mark of Tzeentch. It could have been the Warriors of Chaos DLC, but I think it was actually Shadows of Change. Drop down the Sword of Torment on these crossbowmen. They are going in nowhere but to the afterlife. And on the group that was moving up, since we've already used our metal spell, or at least the Searing Doom. Go for a final transmutation instead. Love the VFX on that as well. Wasn't the most damage, though, for how much winds you are utilizing every time you cast it. Like most of our battles against the Empire here, this mostly comes down to eliminating the crossbowmen with our flyers, while the blue horrors and everything struggle to get up over the walls.
Keep your heads down, men! They're casting spells!
Indeed. Casting spells and diving into the then isolated crossbows. Actually gonna check out some of the awesome combat animations for your iridescent horrors. They've got some really cool ones that just don't tend to survive melee combat very well. Not usually a good idea. We've got Kairos coming up over the walls now. The Fires of Tzeentch was a little bit slow to come on down, so I think most of the enemy is going to dodge that. It'd be really cool if what the Exalted Horrors drop down is kind of a miniaturized version of this, which I'm betting it with what we're going to see. I could just do testing on my own, but that would spoil the fun. Or Imperial's getting to meet Sigma early. Absolutely love the Changebringers. Drop down Kairos's stop right there, Gaze of Fate ability, so that the Changebringers can switch over and eliminate them quickly. While our flying Angry Chicken deals with all of the towers. It's a boring job, but someone's gonna do it. Making sure the Imperial crossbow teams are locked down and not firing is going to be the main way you don't lose anyone. Otherwise, we would absolutely be dropping Furies like flies. Get them, Screamers. A little whirly blade into the screaming animation is my favorite that they've got. That one there. Performing quite well. We've also got a technology that's going to give them charmed attacks, which will hopefully at least allow them to survive combat a little bit better.
Death to the enemy!
Iroh's dancing around to the pikemen. And we've got Kevin summoning in some allies to help him deal with the enemy captain here. And the eternal question of Blue Horror versus Halberdier. Shiv tends to win out in most cases. What's also great is that a couple of them in the front lines will use those blades, and the back line will continue to fire those shots when they can. Fantastic. You have to make sure you haven't given them the melee attack order. Otherwise, they will not. Our units have finally made it on inside the walls. Slow and steady. Still best to get them up, set up in a organized formation, and let them go to town from there. The Flamers already annihilate that wall of swordsmen that was running for the hills, admittedly. Now they shall do so in agony. Fighting the battles with Tzeentch even at nighttime almost makes the even cooler. Another summoned group of blue horrors throwing down. Our screamers got a little bit caught up in halberdiers, which is something you really don't want because they lose health very quickly. Against archers and other low-tier flyers, they do very good though. Gotta brawl against very unimportant summoned units. Sigmar's finest falling right into our trap. And like that, the enemy breaks. We'll spend a good bit of time rounding them up and warping them for Tzeentch. That is another victory. And a pretty simple victory there. We've got several blue horrors now ascending to gold chevron, which is fantastic, including our cockatrice here. All of the experience here has been gained by the Deceivers. Pretty good stuff. We'll start up a symbiotic cult here as well. Did we get the income siphoning one right off the bat? We did indeed. They're just not going to be making any gold because we did just sack the settlement. Can we move any further away from here? Looks like no, and we're not going to be able to teleport on over to Hergig next turn, which is a little unfortunate, but we should be able to, I guess, kind of ping-pong from mid and stag up if we so choose for even more experience.
Unholy victory.
Stimulate growth? Really? Well, I guess that would work for any other normal Tzeentch faction, just not how the Changeling works. We'll grab Arcane Conduit here for 40% more power recharge. The greater version will just give you a little bit of spell intensity as well, which is not bad. We are seriously lacking in terms of cult supplies. We've got so many grimoires here, so we can get more changing of the ways. Force Peace. Transfer Settlement. Which we might be able to just use to completely delete Festus's faction. Or track army so we know... Track and transfer an army's line of sight. That's bizarre. I think instead we'll go for more spell resistance for all of our characters and more miscast base chance, so that way we can be overcasting as many spells as possible. And that way we can start getting our actual army abilities too here. Where Tzeentch's army abilities usually come in just for casting spells, which we should be doing all the time.
What tricks the wooden?
Alright, well we can't afford any more soldiers at the moment. I'd like to kind of keep our income sitting at where it is. Karn has all sorts of enemies nearby, so Staying off their radar is going to be very important here. There is a Dawi army over here we could go get into a brawl with. I think we just need to be a little bit sneaky. Have Karn hide. Because Gelt should crash into these guys, and if he is strong enough, defeat them. And whoever's left we can deal with. Karn's force is just not the most scary. Can't really afford anything that much better, though. Maybe one more Fury. Or a flying unit. And then we'll see how the income, or how our income looks next turn here. I'd really like to get in a few more heroes as well, especially since next turn we should be able to start fielding those exalted heroes, which I want in the Changeling's army immediately. That will be our turn, though. Alright, so now we're making some pretty good gold. What I'm going to do is drop into... I don't think we could reach our gate if we go into an ambush stance, so we'll just teleport on through.
Space is a mortal limitation.
Yoink. Okay, Gunter camped out in Talabheim, and good old Toddy in Middenstag, but he's probably just fielding a squad of nothing but spearmen. 82 gold is not much. Let's start increasing our gold supplies.
Always scheming.
You think that Werner knows where we're at? It definitely looks like he does. So Gelt's just standing here in Averheim, absolutely where he's not allowed to be. How strange. Well, what I'll do is try to sneak around, because if we get, basically if they run into you, this is similar to an ambush stance, and if they run into you, they can then spot you and initiate combat, which we really don't want. Can I teleport past them? We might get caught teleporting. So I think we go past the northern part of Wurtbad. Let's sneak our way into Drakenhof as best we can. While he's here, let's go ahead and give him one more pink horror, the normal pink variety. That would be awesome. Because we can also recruit in our exalted heroes now. Unholy extra bonus versus large at plus 12. Welcome, Asavar.
Exalted hero of Tzeentch.
Look at you. Well, the middle head has no eyes at all. So his eyes are on this. Gross. This is a big old beefy three-headed boy though. Look at this. Look at his thighs. Leg day is never skipped by the exalted of Tzeentch. Meeting of the minds. While you were out partying, he was studying the blade. That is a lot of berry replenishment rate, especially rolling with the likes of... Who is it? Village. He has all sorts of ridiculous replenishment things you can do with barrier. Or assume command. Also, if your lord dies, you just increase the leadership. I think this basically just counteracts what happens with your lord's defeat. Or meeting of the minds, so he becomes stronger as allies cast spells. 3 heads are better than 1. I think the best call is going to be the Fated Protector there. Using our Exalted Heroes as a bit of a, just a wall. Let's go Potion of Toughness to increase that wall. I think you deserve a Giant's Blade as well. Give him some bonus versus infantry. 3-headed demon, Asavar.
What next? Swap Thorgrim's beard for
Okay, and that means we're going to get rid of an additional blue horror. Starting to thin our army out for the elite troops little by little, and I'm here for it. Alright, let's skip on through here. Save up a bit of gold. We should be able to then afford one more pink horror here with Karn, provided Werner doesn't spot him. Sneak 100, hopefully. We'll find out, won't we? Datzu has been discovered. Oh, you're up here in the north of Crudenwald. That's going to make me want to turn and chase you. So scheme canceled. Oh no. Ancestral Throng has been wiped out. So now we no longer going to have access to the facial scruff, leftover dwarven beard fluff from your encounters with Brombrindle. Many in your army think it's from the White Dwarf himself. Probably best not to correct them. Would give whatever who is it is equipped to 15 more defense and then 10 more leadership, but since we didn't get over there fast enough, we lose access to that one. Time and relative dimensions. There is a sudden sound of rushing wind, and one of your most trusted slaves abruptly vanishes, leaving only scorched footprints. Interesting callback there, CA. For 9 hours, they are gone, and then reappear in this exact same spot, now 20 years older, and boasting the countless battles they have fought. Oh, well done. Karn has come on back with 1999 experience.
As fate
Right, then we'll have you kick out this Silver Chevron squad of blue horrors.
is my name.
They put us in a bit of a predicament where if I choose to wipe out Boris, because I could possibly get 2 battles here.
The master would let me be him for a moment.
Let's go for it. It slows us down a bit, but we get our field battle in the Empire, try to further that scheme along. Auto-resolve this one, and we're not going to bring the... That was brutal again. We didn't bring the Exalted Hero on over just so I didn't lose any extra movement. Makes me a bit sad. And then we can come up and... While we can't hit Honorith, we can destroy Hergig, raise this to the ground, and then force him to resettle the Brass Keep. I don't know if they'll have the gold to do it, though. Let's encircle now and get the experience for our hero.
Dance, puppets.
Dance, puppets.
Let us bring them change.
And then before we actually assault, I saw that the Changer has an additional... The Changeling has an additional skill point. Immortals. Here. Many-colored fires.
Mortal foibles. Immortal.
And then we should just be able to auto-resolve this one
My cantrips and
as well.
spells will have
You really like to throw our poor weird spawn into the pyre. Raise this one. Hergig now falls. We've got ourselves some blazing squealers. These horrors are living conduits to the realm of Tzeentch, channeling volatile warp fire directly from his dark abode.
whisper
Torchbearers of Tzeentch.
welcome true.
And then we'll do the Changeling and just go into March stance. Try to cut off any escape.
Faster, faster. Time is fleeting.
Indeed. And if anyone decides to fight us, I'm perfectly willing to throw down on the campaign battle map. More range for our flamers.
Curious trinkets for my hands.
Up to 94, not bad.
I am everyone. And no one.
And then for Kevin, let's just go for the earthing so he's not exploding.
A delight.
I do like when my spellcasters manage to cast effectively. For our Lord of Tzeentch, we'll just go for good old Warp Fire.
Unpredictable. Unforeseen.
4 extra melee defense for all demonic, missile, and flying units. Which will go up to +8, 6% more speed for the flyers, and then 12% more missile units. Or strength for the missile units, which is good.
New strength flows through me.
The Empire.
Awesome to hear. The Unholy Cathedral, I think we would like to make a little bit more gold.
The nation calls.
Hergig is now making nothing. But once again, as soon as someone comes on back in, that will be fixed. Karn, we need you to keep moving. Looks like for now, no one knows where you're at. Warzag's coming on down from the mountains, though. Where did you come from? From Crag Dramar? Interesting. I've never seen that one. We can't quite make it into proper friendly territory, but there's no undead near us, so if we go into March stance, we should be able to sneak through just fine. Of course, this is a little bit spooky, but should be able to.
Before you disappoint Tzeentch.
Really want to take any attrition? We can just teleport on through. Yoink. Where they can reach us if they march. As soon as we get over here into Drakenhof, we will be invisible again. Alright, 2k gold.
This win is
Don't think there's probably anything we can truly upgrade. Shrouded Financier. will start making us some money in the long run. So now, once again, here, we pass the turn.
Unpredictable, unforeseen, unholy.
Vlad has been discovered ambushing, and I just realized we've been worried about Vlad's forces this whole time, and he's actually friendly with me. So we can get on down towards Dragonhof, probably without any worries at all.
For the great game.
I'll go ahead and jump into March stance, though, that way we can actually make it into the Dragonhof region. And we can just kind of hide in the forest up here. Start recruiting. We're adding all of the extra drama to this journey that didn't need to be there. So now we're up to 41 siege corruption, increasing by 7 per turn. So little by little here, we'll eventually get this grand scheme.
Bringing bedlam.
Where'd you go? The random army of... Let's see if we can find them using our schemes. So destroy the Fecundites. Where's their final army? Right there. How excellent. Immortal. Yeah. Can I reach him? Oh, I can't. How cheeky.
The ultimate scheme.
Oh, we might as well just build up some more magic and just kind of sit outside then. You're not going anywhere. And we know it. As soon as I can recruit in another hero, I will do so and just send them over towards Carolberg. We can recruit up a Exalted, or I guess an Iridescent Horror here in Flinsburg, and then send them on over. We don't have any amazing ones. Weapon Master's not super awesome. Tough isn't terrible for the extra armor. I guess Strong is probably a little bit better than even Tough, but you don't necessarily want melee skills for your Iridescent Horrors. Alright then. Alright, Karak here now bites the dust. We need to move quick or there's going to be no Dawi left. So we might need to move on in to kind of take down one of Warzag's ancillary forces here. Just kind of sneak in and out and wipe them out. That way we can hopefully allow the Dawi to kind of get rebuilt back up. To remain in stasis is a fate worse than even the cruelest death. Praise the Architect of Fate, for he brings blessed change, and not a moment too soon. We'll swap back over to in-camp stance. You just gotta hang out. Franz is moving back through. They're doing everything they can to try to convince me that I should be wasting my time. Estes has built back up a proper army, hasn't he? A Pyrrhic victory. What is this? How did you get such elite troops? Hit the absolute jackpot on the RNG there.
Deception.
He got 2 units of Chaos Spawn, the Aspiring Champions, and some Nurgly Forsaken, all just from a ruined Brass Keep. Impressive. I'm still gonna auto-resolve it.
Fight fiercely.
We have defeated you so many times, it's time to move along. We shall raise this. Defeating the Fecundites. Now putting us in a pretty dangerous... Well, it was going to put us in a dangerous spot.
This action does not have my consent.
This is not a dangerous army, though. Tzeentch Zealot for Asavar. And now we've got a quest issued. The Lords of the Empire are holding that diplomatic summit, and they've forgotten to invite us, which is foolish. Battle's called Belated Delegation. What are we going to be fighting? Ernst von Corden and all of his Free Company militia? This should be a fun battle. Definitely need to replenish up a little bit, but with the defeat of the Fecundites, we now have an additional 10% replenishment across all of our armies. Because we should be able to be back in right quite quickly. Let's continue to build up magic. And we'll just kind of step off to the side here. Not entirely sure why we're now dropping in our income. It could be because Grudenwald just got raised by Ulruk. Ulruk the Land Reaper. What a name. So up to 10% more range and 8% more missile strength for those flamers. We'll check that out in just a second.
I am change.
I'm thinking we want Guinness Golden Hounds to blend up groups that are surrounding Changeling. Let me go for training. For a specialization, we go Chaos Commander, Gladiator for just more damage, or Strategist for more replenishment rate. I think we'll go for Strategist for this first one here. So most of our units are already boosted up to Gold Chevron. We may not need that. Standard die gives them a hefty bit of melee defense. Or Gladiator to make him an absolute champion. Let's go for Chaos Commander. I lied. Let's go for Chaos Gladiator for attack and bonus versus infantry. We'll use him as an anti. I lied once more. That's actually a tough call. What do y'all think? Should we make him a Gladiator or a Commander? I can see merits in both. Or we could either use him as a Hero Hunter, Hero and Large Unit Hunter, or as the middle to our line, where we can basically just drop down that extra 24 melee defense for all of our little blue horrors. Will help me with that decision. For our next technology, we need a Cult of Change to glean magic. Man, the Storm of Fire is going to take a long time. 10 turns on either one of those. Get a whole bunch of extra replenishment. The teleport stance costing no winds of magic also sounds like a really good pickup. Missile strength for more flamers, changebringers, and exalted flamers, or just more ammo and weapon strength for all of our blues. Let's go Exalted Locus of Conjuration, since we're going to have so many of them across all of our different armies. And then I think we'll switch back over to grabbing the Storm of Fire. We just need a few iridescent horrors out stealing technology for us here in a bit. Awesome. So we got 5,000 gold. Can we use it to make us any ourselves? Don't really mind going for a hidden storehouse here. Closing in on getting the Chaos Sorcerer's Tzeentch, which is the more heavily armored variant of the Iridescent Horrors, more or less. Basically the exact same thing, just mortal. They can't fly around. I don't believe they'll have access to a disc. Those be, I think, on a speed at the very most.
Always scheming.
Alright, so yeah, we're just going to sit in Drakenhof for a turn or two. So far it's going to be hard to crack with this army. We just need to build up some gold, and then we'll start actually increasing their troops. A vampire tide, if I've ever seen one.
And many souls for the master.
I'll skip on through that assigned skill point. Anything else here? Can we get some more changing of the ways? Definitely want to increase how fast Drakenhof falls to Tzeentch, so we'll perform this here on Karn. And now, we should have this completed next turn. Perfect. And Reichland and Wissenland have now become one. The gunnery skulls of Nuln have fallen under Reichland's control. But with the claiming of Drakenhof, now the County of Sylvania has always had a strong magical energies, thanks to the influence of the Undead Scourge. If you spread the reach of Tzeentch to this province, you can harness the winds of magic for your own schemes. This will open up a Trickster Rift in Sylvania, and then give us one that we can activate via the technology panel, where we could jump into one of the other theaters at will. Well, basically, we'll be using that then to decide where we're headed next. So if you have not voted on the poll already to where our next theater of war is going to be, go ahead and take to our community page and get your vote in. Bloodsucker's Bane is going to make all of our armies immune to vampiric attrition. Beautiful. So we can completely ignore this. Switch over into channeling stance. And we can even absolutely ignore this if we wanted to. Send Karn somewhere completely different. For now, though, we need him to have more troops. Changeling.
Bringing bedlam.
I think we need just one more turn of replenishment, and then we can absolutely take to the quest battle. Alright, so we'll just bring you on down. You're maxed on our Winds of Magic.
Altering states.
As long as we're staying in Crudenwald, we can kind of move down to attack Middenstag even next turn.
Change.
Set up a new cult for us. Beautiful.
My tricks don't have to result in terrible
but it's
but it's much
much more fun when they do. We'll go ahead and upgrade the Fidencia here and Weissmund as well. They will start to make us money eventually, even if it's the vampires that take over.
in the Changer's name.
Indeed, we can actually move up and take down Sawspug if he's by himself.
Changer's chosen.
Is he by himself? Ooh, that might be a bad
Will be done.
time for you there. Depending on where the other army is. We can't see the mountains right now because we don't have any cults up here, but can we reach him? Make sure we're not getting played. This looks like we can, but if we're unable to, it's going to be bad for us. Let's go for it. They're at war with Sylvania. We could use this to our advantage as well. Sylvania. Where are you guys hiding? I will join you in your war against the Bloody Hands. You will give me
mutually beneficial.
pretty much just want gold.
Yes, yes.
Sounds good to me. So now we see if we can't take down this kind of small army. I bet we just barely can't reach. There's Spite Backbiter and his homies. So we will have this little bit of a smaller battle to start off the next episode, and we'll follow it pretty quickly with the Changers, grand scheme there in the Empire. Thank you all so much for stopping by the Changelings 4th episode here. If you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like for the Light God and a sub for the sub throne. See you all in the next one.